So, I've just came back from New York, where Google Pixel invited me to attend their Made by Google event as part of their superfans program. Firstly, I wanted to thank Google for inviting me and thank all the amazing people I met and hung out with during the trip, from Google employees to other fans of the products. However, I would like to state anything I say in this video is off my own back. Although Google paid for my trip, I'm not required to make this video, nor do they have any input on what this video is about or my opinions. That being said, this video isn't specifically about the new Google Pixel, although I will be doing a review of the Pixels when I get my hands on them. This video is more showing the trip and the cool things we got up to. Originally, this was going to be a vlog type video. However, turns out I'm terrible at IRL vlogging. I didn't vlog enough, and what I did record is absolutely rubbish. So, we're going to have a talking head video, and I'll be showing my journey through pictures. Shout out to some of the other attendees that also let me use some of their pictures for this video. So let's talk about the first day. First time I arrive in New York. First time I've ever been to America. This might not be the correct term, but it's like an uncanny valley feeling. I grew up watching American shows and movies. Hell, I even played a lot of games set in America. So it felt like strangely familiar, but also completely different at the same time. Seeing the large streets, the big yellow school buses, the New York skyline, it felt surreal. I felt like I should look around to see if Nico Bellic's running about. But yeah, we arrived at a hotel. We stayed in a hotel in the Chelsea area of Manhattan, a place called the Highline Hotel. It was absolutely beautiful, but was a little outdated for my liking. Granted, the whole theme is like a vintage luxury hotel, so it makes sense. I just prefer modern hotels, but it was really nice. Before we could check in and get ready for dinner, we had some time to ourselves while they got the room ready. A couple of us had a walk on a thing called the Highline, which is like an old rail track that's been converted into a public park. It was actually real nice and quite beautiful. I wish I took more photos, but I was tired. It was an 8-hour flight. I had no sleep, but I did get this cool picture of a monarch butterfly. I'm not really into butterflies, but this was the first like monarch butterfly I've ever seen. They're surprisingly large and really cool. A couple of us also didn't eat much on the flight, so we had to look around Chelsea Market for a quick bite. Maybe a little bit of a mistake, but we found a bagel place. I got a ham, egg, and cheese bagel, and my god, it was gorgeous. They didn't cheap out on the amount of ham, and it was really good. So, dinner time comes. We have reservations at a posh French restaurant called Le Crocodile. Not my usual cup of tea, usually because I'm a fussy eater. But I'm also willing to try anything at least once. It's also the first time we meet with the whole group at the trip, with people from Europe and the USA. Honestly, lovely bunch of people, and definitely made some friends by the end of the trip. I'm not going to try and pronounce anything on the menu, as I'll butcher literally everything on here. So here's the menu, and I'll show some pictures of the food. But some standouts that I really enjoyed: the roast chicken, a steak, and the profiterole rolls. So the next day, I'm surprisingly not jet lagged, and I wake up at a reasonable time. First thing on the agenda, we got a little tour of the Google store, which is actually a really cool store. Obviously, you can get your hands on a bunch of Google products, from their Nest Smart Home product line to obviously their Pixel lineups. They also had some cool rooms with like demos for their products, such as like an imitation subway where you can try out the Pixel Buds noise cancellation, and a room with some really cool flowers and scenery where you can take selfies with the latest Pixel and then print it out on like a machine that is in the room. Honestly, like, the store is actually pretty fun, and if you're in New York, just check it out for the vibes. We then had a tour of the Google offices. Granted, we didn't take much pictures here, mainly because it's an active office, but honestly, it was really cool. I did, however, get some cool pictures, such as with the giant YouTube play button, as well as a Google logo written in moss. The view from this office is actually insane. And if you look closely, you can even see the Statue of Liberty. We had lunch at the Google office, and they had like a full-on cafe restaurant type thing. It kind of reminded me of one of those like food hall places. The place is like a big warehouse or whatever. You walk in, there's loads of different restaurants doing different things. It was kind of like that, but yeah, in an office. Really cool. So the next thing we did, and it was genuinely my favorite thing of the trip probably, is we went to Brooklyn for a graffiti tour. This was insane. Prior to this, I've never really put much thought into graffiti, but honestly, I apologize, but I cannot remember the name of the host of this tour, but they were amazing. They had so much knowledge of like street art, not just in Brooklyn, but legit around the world. During our introductions, they were talking about like where we're from, and they started like naming local street artists that some of us obviously have heard of, right? Street artists from our hometowns and our cities. It was really cool. You can see there was definitely passion for street art. Like, it was immense. It literally rubbed off on it. They showed us all the different styles on the streets, how some artists actually do their graffiti, and just much more. Like, there's so much to graffitiing that people don't realize. It was really cool. If you're ever in New York, I highly recommend it. And then after the street tour, I think as part of the package, we went into their studio, and they taught us how to actually do some graffiti. We had a guy called Ghostface Mims teaching us the techniques. How to use a spray can properly, what to do, what not to do, how to get different lines and the styles and theming. But yeah, we got to practice on the studio walls, which is really cool. And then we each got given like a little canvas type thing where we can make our own design. Even though, my graffiti skills definitely improved in that, session, it is hard. Graffiti is a lot harder than it looks. Anyway, I attempted to make my logo on this like canvas thing that we used. Yeah, it wasn't very good. I absolutely butchered it. The guy teaching us, Ghostface Mims, absolute legend, decided to fix it up. And if you look behind me, this is the result. I'll put it up on big on screen as well. Yeah, but then we also worked on like a big group project. I'm not going to share it because it's, not necessarily mine to share. But I will leave a link to the tour website as well as the artist's Instagram if you want to check them out. Honestly, they don't know I'm doing this. It's not like sponsored or anything. It was just really fun, really cool. And if you're ever in the area, definitely worth giving it a go. So after that, we went to a Mexican restaurant. I don't have a picture of the menu, but here are some pictures of the food. And the view was incredible. It was like on a rooftop. It was really cool. All the food was banging, but I don't know what they put in the rice, but my God, it was probably the best rice I have ever had. It was gorgeous. Anyway, we headed back to the hotel for a good sleep, ready for the big day. So we wake up the morning of the big event. We headed to a studio to get hands-on with the latest Pixel devices. This was before the embargo lifted, so it was cool to get hands on the devices before release, before anyone publicly knew about. Although as a creator, I would, and as someone that's starting out with a tech channel, trying to do some tech stuff, it would have been great to got access maybe a day before or something, so we can had time to edit and release some content. But beggars can't be choosers. I'm just happy that I got to play with the phone before release, and I even got to get a little tweet and a little Instagram post on the embargo, so that was really cool. Anyway, this room was really cool. All the different devices, the new Pixel phones in all the colorways, the watches. There was even demos showing off the new features. It was all pretty surreal that, I'm even here. Even now, like watching some tech creators making content and, seeing in their videos it's the same room was pretty insane. Anyway, this isn't about the phone per se, so hopefully if you're interested in that, you'll come back, check out my reviews and my showcases when I get hands-on with the devices. So after the event, the showcase, we headed to Washington Square Park and had some New York pizza from a place called Joe's Pizza. Apparently it's pretty famous, but honestly, the pizza was absolutely slapped. I don't know what they use in their sauce, but it was magical. It was so good, man. So we sat down in the park, ate some pizza. It was a good time. After that, I headed to CVS and Target to grab a bunch of American snacks to bring home. Let's be honest, it had to be done. So we go back to the hotel to get dressed up for the event. Maybe I was a little bit dressed up, but I felt good. So here, this is the big event of the night. We got to the Made by Google event and we got front row seats. If you didn't watch the event, definitely recommend it. Trevor Noah was the host, and honestly, it was a lot more entertaining than last year's host. And then after the event, we headed out to a different venue for the after party. It was a nightclub type place, DJ booth in the middle, and you know, as a raver, this is my kind of place. Open bar, food stalls, people walking around with little bites. It was a really cool touch. There was also like a photo booth type thing that was like on like a stage behind us. I don't know why I'm pointing behind me, but you know, it was like on a stage in the place. And then the actual scenery, like when you stood where you'd get in the photographs, the DJ booth and all the lights and stuff was behind you. It was really cool. And then a nice cool touch is they was all using the new Pixels to take the photos. They had like a little camera gear with like a light, and it was like the phone taking the photos. It was really cool. And the best part is they had Peggy Goo DJing on stage. So that was really cool. It was a great night. I had a lot of fun, and although it was an open bar, I made it a point not to drink too much, and I didn't want to make a fool of myself in front of my new friends. The next day, which was also the last day, was a lot more chill. We didn't have to do anything till around 11ish, meaning I can have a bit of a lay-in, which was nice. I was also flying home this day, so it was nice not to have to rush about. We visited the American Museum of like Natural History, a museum you might know from the movie Night at the Museum. This was really cool. I even got to see the Easter Island Maui head. Unfortunately, I didn't have any gum. It was a cool museum, to be fair. I had to write that in the script. Come on, man. It was a cool museum. It was really cool to see it all. And then after we had a look through the museum, we went a few blocks away to a burger place that one of the groups been to before. I wasn't too hungry, so I got a small portion of mac and cheese. But my God, I wish I got more. This was probably the best mac and cheese I have ever eaten. Definitely full of chemicals. Was definitely, you know, I'm definitely lost a few years of my life, but it was so good. I would eat that all day long. Anyway, yeah, it blew me mind. So taxi back to the hotel to grab our bags and suitcases, and then we took the underground to the airport. If you're ever in New York, I would advise against getting Ubers. They are stupidly expensive compared to, you know, everywhere else. Well, at least everywhere else I've used Ubers. You know, a lot of places in Europe. Mainly a lot of places in Europe. But apparently, you know, there were some US guys, and they said that, you know, the rest of America's pretty good for Ubers. So, yeah, maybe take the underground. The New York underground system, which also has air conditioning, and it's free. It's like $3 to anywhere on the line on the network. So pretty nice, easy. You get to the airport and back, you know, $3, nice and easy. Maybe the London Underground can take some notes from that. Air conditioning mainly, you know. But yeah, that's the end of my trip, and this is the end of my video. I genuinely had like an amazing time. I very much appreciate Google for flying me out. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I made some amazing friends from around the world, and I cannot wait to visit the US again. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Keep an eye out for my coverage on the new Pixel 11s, and if you like all things tech, keep an eye out for other videos. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.